Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. What happens when secret desires, hidden loyalties, and dangerous obsessions collide? Today's drama on The Bold and the Beautiful proves that even the most careful plans can spiral completely out of our control. Today's episode delivers a storm of emotions, confusion, and temptation. Deacon and Taylor struggle to keep their distance despite the undeniable pull between them, while Sheila celebrates what she believes is a breakthrough in her marriage. Meanwhile, across town, a completely different kind of tension unfolds as Dylan grows closer to a newly single wheel. And what begins as comfort between friends suddenly crosses into unexpected territory. At Forester Creations, Hope finds herself once again confronting her father about his complicated romantic situation. She believes the answer is obvious. Deacon belongs with Taylor, not Sheila. But Deacon insists things are far more complicated than they appear. At the same time, Sheila becomes convinced that Taylor's advice played a major role in transforming her relationship with Deacon. What Sheila doesn't realize is that Taylor herself is struggling with feelings she cannot ignore. And just when things seem emotionally messy enough, the situation at the beach house takes a surprising turn when Dylan decides to act on her own impulses, leaving Will shocked and maybe not entirely unhappy after a spontaneous kiss. Let's start with Deacon and Sheila, because their situation is at the center of the chaos. According to Taylor's very strict advice, Deacon was only supposed to be intimate with his wife while thinking about her, an unusual request that reveals just how complicated Taylor's feelings really are. She tried to draw a boundary by encouraging Deacon to recommit to Sheila, but emotionally she clearly hasn't let him go, while Deacon and Sheila share an intimate moment in their bedroom. Something strange happens. Sheila believes they are finally experiencing a deeper connection than ever before. To her, the moment feels new, exciting, almost like they are rediscovering each other. She describes it as if they were making love for the very first time. But inside Deacon's mind, the situation is very different. As Sheila embraces him, Deacon repeatedly imagines Taylor instead. His thoughts drift back to the doctor, the woman he truly wants to be with. Even though he's physically with his wife, his mind refuses to let go of Taylor. That internal conflict says everything about the emotional storm he's trapped in. Afterward, Deacon begins getting rest, clearly ready to leave. Sheila notices immediately. For her, the moment they just shared was special and meaningful, something she hoped would bring some closer together. She's confused about why he's suddenly pulling away. At the same time, Taylor is sitting alone in her office, struggling with her own thoughts. She tries to convince herself she made the right decision by pushing Deacon back toward his wife. She even whispers for him to stay with Sheila and make things work. But the moment she looks at a photograph of Deacon, her emotions became overwhelming. She can't stop thinking about him. And then, suddenly, things get even more tense. Sheila storms into Taylor's office. She explains that she learned Taylor had been meeting with Deacon after hearing it from one of the waiters. Taylor immediately becomes defensive, unsure of what Sheila might do next. For a brief moment, she even glances at a letter opener on her desk, clearly preparing for the possibility that Sheila might react aggressively. But instead of attacking her, Sheila does something completely unexpected. She hugs her. Sheila actually thanks Taylor for speaking to Deacon. In her mind, Taylor's advice helped create the most passionate night she and Deacon have ever shared. She enthusiastically explains how Deacon admired every part of her and how special the moment felt. While Sheila excitedly recounts the night, Taylor is silently remembering something very important. Deacon promised he would be thinking about her, so as Sheila praises the experiences. Taylor realizes that the entire moment might have been built on Deacon imagining someone else. Meanwhile, over at Forrester Creations, now the storyline unfolds. Hope is dealing with two enthusiastic co workers, Kingsley and Jamie, who seem far more interested in Will than in their actual work. They proudly present Hope with their plans for the day, but the conversation quickly turns to Will. Apparently, people have noticed that Will hasn't been seen with Electra lately. The two women openly gush about him, wondering where he is and why he hasn't been around. RJ reassures them that Will still works for the company, though their attention seems just as focused on RJ himself. Hope tries to stay focused on business, but the conversation becomes even more personal when Deacon arrives. Once they are alone, Hope immediately questions her father about Taylor, but clearly believes the situation should be simple. If Deacon loves Taylor, he should be with her. In Hope's eyes, Sheila belongs in the past. Deacon, however, insists it isn't that easy. He admits Taylor makes him happy, but happiness alone isn't enough to fix the damage already done. He also reminds Hope that Taylor herself told him to recommit to his wife. Hope isn't convinced. She believes both of them are ignoring the obvious truth that Deacon truly wants Taylor. But Deacon refuses to make that choice, at least not yet. While that emotional debate continues, another story unfolds at the beach house. Will is outside taking a shower, clearly trying to shake off some lingering stress. Dylan watches him with a playful smile before handing him a towel. When Will admits he's still struggling with tension from everything happening in his life, Dylan decides she might have a solution. She brings him inside and gives him a strong drink, something she jokingly calls a powerful tea meant to help him relax. Their conversation becomes surprisingly heartfelt. Will thanks Dylan for being such an important part of his life. She responds by saying he changed her life too. In a light-hearted moment, Dylan admits a small secret. She accidentally shrank his favorite child. Instead of being angry, Will laughs about it, and the moment breaks the tension between them. As they continue talking, Dylan reassures him that she will always support him no matter what. They call each other gifts, acknowledging how much they value their friendship. But then the mood shifts. Dylan admits she understands why Electra and Archer sometimes act on impulse. She even confesses that she can be impulsive herself, and before Will can fully process what she means, Dylan leans forward and kisses him. This episode sets up several explosive possibilities for the future. First, the Deacon Sheila Taylor triangle is becoming more dangerous by the minute. Sheila believes her marriage is improving, but the truth is much darker. Deacon's emotional connection to Taylor hasn't faded at all. It's actually getting stronger. If Sheila discovers that Deacon has been fantasizing about Taylor while being with her, the fallout could be massive. Sheila has spent years proving just how unpredictable and intense she can be when she feels betrayed. At the same time, Taylor is caught in a painful emotional trap. She tried to do the right thing by pushing Deacon back toward his wife, but her own feelings are clearly getting in the way. The more she tries to suppress them, the stronger they seem to become. And then there is the new twist with Dylan and Will. What started as a comforting friendship has suddenly taken on romantic tension. If this kiss leads to something deeper, it could complicate Will's already messy romantic life, especially if Electra becomes involved again. Every character seems to be standing on the edge of a dramatic turning point. Honestly, this storyline is classic, bold, and the beautiful chaos in the best way possible. The emotional contradictions are exactly what makes soap operas so addictive. Deacon is clearly trying to do the right thing by honoring his commitment to Sheila, but the truth is written all over his actions. He's off somewhere else, and sooner or later, that reality is going to explode, and Sheila Well, Sheila believing everything is finally perfect might actually make the eventual reveal even more tense. When someone with her history feels betrayed, the consequences are rarely small. As for Dylan and Will, that moment felt like the beginning of something unpredictable. Sometimes the most surprising relationships start exactly like this, with two friends crossing a line they didn't expect. So now, the big question is what happens when the truth finally comes out? Will Sheila discovers the Deacon's hurt and even his thoughts belong to Taylor? If she does, how far will she go to protect her marriage? And what about Dylan and Will? Was that kiss just a moment of impulse or the start of a brand new romance? I want to hear what you think. Should Deacon finally choose Taylor or should he stay loyal to Sheila? And do you think Dylan and Will actually make a good couple? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of today's bold and a beautiful drama, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the next week.